And finally, new rule, since the State of the Union address is next Tuesday, let's get rid of the State of the Union address before Tuesday. And here's why. Nothing has misled the American people to the warped belief that the president can act like a king more than this stupid, boring, performative after-dinner speech from hell, where the sergeant-at-arms announces the president like he's a king, and he walks into the room like Conor McGregor heading into the octagon. With members of Congress lining the aisle like medieval peasants hoping to touch the royal garments, and then he proceeds to tell Congress what he wants them to do, making it look like the president is in charge of everything and it's he who sets the agenda. But that's not what it says in the operating manual. You know, the Constitution. Article 1, Section 1, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States. Not mostly. Not unless the president has a really bitchin' idea. Nearly half the words in our Constitution are in Article 1. That's the one about Congress and all the stuff they're supposed to be in charge of. The exclusive power to make laws, declare war, tax, tariff. Even organize the other branches. Congress creates the laws. The president is just supposed to execute them. Execute, like the executor of a will. He doesn't decide the deceased's wishes. He just makes sure they're carried out. But you'd never know that from the State of the Union speech, which has become the president's big Etsy wish list for America. For example, in his 2023 address, Joe Biden proposed the Junk Fee Prevention Act, a proposal that would ban excessive fees tacked onto concert tickets, outlaw airlines from charging families a fee to sit together, and put an end to resort fees. These are all great ideas, and totally not the president's job to propose them. Again, he's just the enforcer. If Congress passes that law and then we find out Delta is still charging families to sit together, by all means, Pete Hegseth, send in the 101st Airborne to crack skulls. But don't get it mixed up. The star of this movie we call American democracy is Congress. The president is at most up for Best Supporting Actor. No wonder It's no wonder that Americans think the president controls the price of eggs. Nearly a third think he controls gas prices and the unemployment rate. 1 in 4 thinks he has control over interest rates and consumer prices. And the hosts of Fox and Friends think he can change the paths of hurricanes. Well, what do you expect when we have this big ballyhooed annual event that looks like the president's royal wedding to himself? It's everything George Washington did not want, because Washington knew the Constitution, and nowhere does it say the president has to get up before Congress every year and bloviate on and on like he's the slightly drunk best man at the rehearsal dinner. It only says that he shall from time to time give to the Congress information on the State of the Union. In other words, an occasional status report, like a Facebook update. Washington's first State of the Union was 833 words. It was hardly worth throwing his wig on for. It lasted all of 10 minutes. Chuck Grassley barely had time to get settled in his seat. Our third president, Thomas Jefferson, stopped doing it in person altogether, as did all the presidents for the next 112 years. They just wrote a brief report, because Even they understood nobody likes a meeting that could have been done by email. Jefferson didn't want a speech to Congress because he thought it was too much like the King of England's speech from the throne and that it sent the wrong message. It did. It still does. And I shudder to think where this trend will lead and hope it is not to a president so emboldened by our royal treatment of him that he thinks he has the right to do whatever he wants.
Then I have an Article 2 where I have the right to do whatever I want.
Yes, Trump acts like a king, but don't lay it all on him because we have been moving in this direction for a long time. For example, the Constitution explicitly says only Congress can declare war, but we've effectively gone to war dozens of places in the last century, and Congress only declared it twice. Otherwise, Congress treats presidents' intent to send troops to fight somewhere like a user agreement that pops up on your phone. Just click it.